the Holy Hour Podcast, the bi-weekly all-cure podcast. I'm Gavin and welcome to the show. I hope everybody is doing well out there. Lovely episode right ahead for you guys. Today we'll be talking about the Riot Festival. Yes, the Cure's most recent live show out in Chicago, September 17th, about 2 weeks ago now, and hope everyone's still glowing from it, whether you were on the rail, in the front, in the trenches, somewhere in the middle, or way, way, way back. Doesn't matter. You were there. You got to witness this, and I hope you feel great about it. And even to all the people like us out here that were just either watching, Leanie's lovely live stream on Instagram, or just updating setlist.fm to see what happens, what's the next song, what's gonna happen next. But for the most part, it looks like everybody would have to admit that the show went off pretty damn smoothly. From what I could tell anyway, the band didn't seem like they were rusty at all, had lost a step since July or anything like that. So rest assured, South America, you are in for some amazing shows just like North America and Europe. But before we dive into the real nitty gritty, we would like to set the stage. Let's see, we had the poster. Yes, poster talk. I love getting back to poster talk. The poster got released. I love it. I think it's cool. It's a black cat, has a cool spiral behind it on a purple. I guess they changed colors throughout the editions or whatever, but the original one's purple. Black cat with a little timepiece on its eye that has a heart on it. And it's kind of nitty-gritty like an old film poster with the new logo and Chicago Riot Fest on there. I know a couple people weren't too blown away by it, but I love it. I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with cats on Cure posters at this point. Every cat one has pretty much been a success, whether it be Austin or Albuquerque or the Montreal one. And now Riot Fest, it looks great. I think it's very cool. Doesn't really tap into the Chicago elements, maybe, unless there's something I'm missing. Doesn't seem to be very windy in this cat environment or anything like that. But so maybe lose a couple points for that. But otherwise, I think it's pretty rad and it's a cool design. So. And it was designed by Sister Hyde. So very cool. If you order it, you might get it in time for next Christmas. Hopefully, if you wanted it, you got it at the festival. What else can we get into before we dive in? There was a cool little article that I don't know how... I didn't see it getting plastered everywhere necessarily, but on the actual Riot Fest website leading up to the festival, there was a pretty cool little just typed up article of the other bands playing the festival. And they asked them what was their favorite Cure song and why. So all the different artists. So I thought I'd read that for you guys in case you missed it. 90% of these bands, I don't even know who the hell they are. So apologies if I mispronounce them or sound totally oblivious. It's because I am. But I thought it was pretty cool. And there's a couple in there I recognize. So I'll try to read through these fairly fast before we get in to the actual first-hand account of the festival from our Patreon member and good friend Nicholas Hedges. Was kind enough to report back to us and has all the real nitty-gritty for you. But beforehand, let's get pumped up a little bit with artists and their favorite Cure songs and how psyched they were to be on the same bill as the Cure. First up, we had Fanny from the band Fee. And they chose Play for Today. It was the first song shown to me by The Cure, and I was hooked ever since. Fair enough. Jarrett D. of the Screamin' Females said, it's a tie between Grinding Halt and remix version of Close to Me. Grinding Halt because Punk Cure is the best Cure, and Close to Me remix because that song got me through a lot of shifts at the cafe in the early 2010s. Okay, so going back to our Close to Me praise, that one got played out, and I believe Jessica said that she used to hear Close to Me on a lot of work shifts, right? Too. So, it's funny, cool. JT Hawthorne Heights. Hawthorne Heights is the band. JT is in that band. JT says, this is a hard one for me because they are one of my favorite bands. If I have to choose, though, I think I'm going to go with Just Like Heaven. I think it has everything I love about the band and Robert Smith. It somehow feels romantic and dark, yet cheerful and happy at the same time. I can recognize the emotion and love of another person through his words immediately. On the musical dorkier side of things, I love the way the rhythm guitar is strummed in a way that only Robert could do it. So unique and so fluttery, kind of like a heartbeat. So good. Couldn't agree with you more there, JT. And next we have the Rex, and they say we have to go with Friday I'm in Love. This song will forever live in my favorites playlist. Jeffrey Rickley of the band Thursday says, from the edge of the deep green sea, it's almost a deep cut. Classic Cure songwriting, epic yearning, great storytelling. There's something about that one. I've tried to write a song like it so many times and failed. It's perfect. Right there with you, Jeffrey. Shane Told is his name. Silverstein is the band. Oh, and now you make it even tougher. You could pick any song off of Disintegration, but I'll go with Pictures of You. Just an absolute banger. I'd lie and say that was the first riff I played on my Robert Smith signature guitar, but really it was Boys Don't Cry. Okay, wow. So Silverstein plays a Robert Smith signature guitar, maybe? I'm not sure. We'll have to check that one out. Or maybe just plays that one at home, and who knows, but cool. Calva Luis, and I guess that's the stage name too. Calva Luis. A Forest. We love how the song instantly creates a unique atmosphere and takes us in. The drums and the bass line captivate us, while the chord progression, sound effects, and instruments fading in and out bring the forest to life. Absolutely. And most of these are ones that they actually played at the festival too, so everybody will be happy so far. I think Grinding Halt was the only one that they haven't done. Next, we have Ride. Everyone knows Ride. So many to choose from, they say. But just like heaven, just levitates me. Simple and right on point. Thank you, Ride. Hotline TNT. They go with Mint Car because when Robert is happy, everyone is happy. Very true, but yeah, this would be a letdown one. You're not gonna get to hear Mint Car, Hotline TNT. Sorry, but Robert seemed happy enough, so hopefully they were happy too. Enter Shakira, not Shakira. Enter Shikari is the name of the band, and they're going with In Between Days. I remember my cousin making me a compilation tape of The Cure when I was about 11, and I immediately loved getting lost in their music. In Between Days was definitely one of my first favorites, but obviously with a catalog like theirs, it's impossible to narrow it down to just one. It's only going to be my second time seeing them live, so I'm just glad that they're headlining so I don't lose my voice before we play. Enola Gay, the band, chose Killing an Arab. It's the song that introduced me to The Cure. An old friend of mine lent me Albert Camus' The Stranger, just so when I finished it, they could show me the song. I can't imagine how many people discovered the book as a result of this song. It's incredible how music can turn you on to other forms of art. I also love when a song's lyrics correlate with the music itself, like how the guitar was written in the Phrygian scale. Clever songwriting. Yes, indeed. Frank Turner says Fascination Street because of the bass line. Keeping it simple. Okay. The Bobby Lee's favorite Cure song is Love Cats. I like when Robert Smith tries to pet the baby kitten and it bites his hand. Okay, that's the video, but that counts. Love Cats, can't argue that. I know a little dude that would agree with you there. Just Friends, the band, says probably Close to Me because the drum intro is so cool. Yep. Jamie from Code Orange says they have so many amazing hits and deep cuts. I'll probably go with In Between Days for a hit, and Letter to Elise off of Wish, a still known but lesser known song. Very true. So In Between Days or Letter to Elise. Again, everybody's pretty much getting their request. No Love Cats and no let's see, what was the other one? Mint Car. But yeah, we had Fascination Street, we had Close to Me, and even got Killing an Arab in there. And as we wind it down, Christian from the Black Angels said, favorite Cure song is Pictures of You. Can't argue that. I'm right there with you, Christian. You didn't say why, though, so you only get a C and not an A on this assignment. So, oh well. Very cool, though, and just goes to show how many bands were probably so pumped to be on the bill with The Cure. And, yeah, how fucking cool is that? Do you not only get to play the same festival as The Cure, but you get to see The Cure? No doubt a real honor for all these bands. And let's get into it then. What do you say? What the hell happened on September 17th out there in Chicago? Let's go to Nicholas to see firsthand account. Grab your raincoat though. I heard it's got some potential for rain. So let's see what happens. Nicholas, tell us.
Hello, Gavin, and hello to the Holy Hour listeners. It's been about a week since Riot Fest ended. I've had a lot of time to digest all the excitement, re-listen to the show. So yeah, I'm geared up and ready to talk about Riot Fest 2023. I traveled to Chicago with my wife Ashley, my sister, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend. I live about an hour away from Columbus, from my location. Chicago's about a 6-hour drive, but you lose an hour. And after all the bathroom breaks and gas station stops, restaurant stops, that kind of thing, it's about 8 hours to get there. This was my second time seeing The Cure. I just caught them for the first time back in June for the Cleveland show. This was also my wife's second time seeing them. She was with me in Cleveland. The other three, this was their first time. All of my family generally knows about The Cure. They know the look. They know they're from the 80s. And they know I'm highly obsessed with them and have been for a long time. My brother and sister, I think, they know a couple songs. You hear them in movies and the grocery store from time to time. So I think they knew a couple singles. So they were going in pretty blind and fresh. Minimal expectation. I think they know that the show was going to be good. I don't think they knew how good. When you hear about a 45-year-old band from the 80s, generally there's not a lot of good representation of older bands out there that are still doing it well. But yeah, my group was super pumped up to see what all the fuss is about. We left Ohio early Saturday morning, got to Chicago mid-afternoon. We checked the city out a little bit, got some food. Later that night, we caught Godspeed You Black Emperor at the Bottom Lounge. They're scheduled to play Riot Fest on Sunday as well, but the scheduling looked a little too tight with The Cure, so we opted to catch them the night before, just to clear up time for getting a good spot for The Cure on Sunday. I woke up early Sunday morning. It was very rainy, wet, and dreary. I had to laugh. It's kind of like, man, the Cleveland show was a monsoon, and it was looking like my Chicago show was also going to be a really wet one. It's kind of like Robert Brings the Rain or something. The forecast didn't look terrible, though. It looked like the rain was going to go away by the time the evening set in. So I wasn't too concerned about cancellations or delays or missing The Cure or anything like that. At breakfast, I tuned into Arusha's live stream. I believe she had Ruben on there with his wife. I don't remember the name of his page. I follow way too many pages. But he was on the front lines at the festival gates, and so it seemed to be a little more rainy there than where I was at in the city. But they revealed that the gates had been postponed to open until 2 p.m. instead of the slated 11 a.m. Shortly after, Riot Fest posted that All bands that were scheduled to play previous to 2 o'clock were canceled. But yeah, despite the delay and the rain, from what I could tell on the live stream I watched, there seemed to be hundreds, maybe thousands, in line early and waiting in the rain. With the event being held in a public park, curfew is very strict, so the festival had to keep to schedule. Robert, during the show, would joke later on about not speaking to the crowd, just trying to keep schedule. He said if he had time at the end, he'd tell us something. He made a comment about he'd much rather sing to us than talk to us. Anyway, we arrived at the festival about 4 o'clock. The crowd was fairly light compared to what it would grow into in the next couple hours. This was the largest scale event / crowd that I've been to. Things get a little hectic, time moves fast. There's a lot going on at a festival like that. Only having a few hours to explore the festival before the Cure were set to take the stage. I tried to just explore everything, see what the festival had to offer. There was a lot of great food, a lot of local art, beer. I haven't seen people. They had a guy selling joints at the festival. I've never seen that before. That's certainly not legal or accepted in Ohio. We even witnessed a cop smoking a joint, which was different to see. But yeah, I was a bit surprised by the general vibe of the festival. It was surprisingly super family friendly. By the end of the night, I think I only saw maybe 3 or 4 really drunk people, and I only saw one guy tripping out. As the evening started to settle in, I honestly forgot I was at a festival. It slowly eased into the feeling of I was at a Cure show. The 2 main stages at the festival were side by side. The Mars Volta was playing on the left side, and on the right side, the Cure's crew were starting to set up the stage, do the final tunings, all the prep stuff. We got a pre-show bathroom trip in, which was a 20-25 minute line to a porta potty. Returning from the bathroom, the size of the crowd had tripled, if not more, just in 25 minutes. People packing in, starting to secure their spot. I was determined to get as close as possible, within reasonable comfortability. My brother and sister aren't too comfortable with intense crowds like that. They opted to stay behind in the back of the field. But me and Ashley pushed forward, and my brother's girlfriend decided to push forward into the crowd with us. We pushed and pushed and pushed and navigated through the herd of people, and I finally got about 65, 70 foot from the stage. I picked the right side of the stage, Simon's side. Always going to pick Simon's side. But maybe the next show I'll switch it up a bit and go for the Reeves Perry side. I quickly was able to tell I was surrounded by highly invested fans. Everybody surrounding me was super polite, super excited for the show. I met a lot of people, heard a lot of stories of their Cure travels over the decades. Some people, it was their first show. The people behind me were an older couple, maybe in their 60s. They had just drove 8 hours straight from Nebraska to see the Cure for the first time. They were super pumped up, really enjoyable neighbors for the show. This was my first experience in a crowd of this caliber. I've yet to see any official numbers for Sunday, but if I had to guess, I'd say there was at least 50,000 people in the crowd. But man, it gets tense in the front lines. I witnessed at least a dozen declare they were trotting forward to the front lines and doing the pit thing. And at least half of them I saw come back, and people were saying things like, it's too tough, I can't do it. It's too hot. Too many people. So yeah, I mean, apparently it gets even more tense. Understandably so, the closer you get. But it was wild, 65 feet from the stage. So I can only imagine the remaining distance from me and the stage, how crazy it was. In terms of heat, though, it really wasn't that hot. The weather couldn't have been any better. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It wasn't overly sunny. Just perfect weather for the event. Sucks for the bands who got canceled, but I think, it all worked out in the long run. But yeah, people get really territorial in the front lines. It was tough keeping our spot secured. The three of us kind of formed a triangle to kind of help secure comfortable space and not get pushed out. There were a few pushers. But overall, everybody around me was super, super, super respectful and polite, and I could tell 95% of the people around me were fully invested in the show, the band, and the experience. The band came out right on time. I think it was 7:40. Alone was the opener. Alone's easily become my favorite new song. It's maybe even in my top 10 or 15 all-time Cure songs. I might debate it might be my new favorite opener for their shows, which is kind of controversial to say. I mean, you got Plain Song and Open, but man, just an epic song. I played it probably 100 times for the European tour, and I played it all summer long as they kept playing it every night for the North American summer tour. Cannot wait to hear it on studio recording. Maybe sometime soon that might actually happen. Pictures of You was number 2. An image that keeps sticking out in my head for the whole show. The festival had massive screens, and the camera work was top of the line. They were focusing on every member of the band, and it was cut very professionally, transitioned into different shots and members. It was almost like a concert film quality. I would kill to have that footage on disc. It was kind of stressful. I was struggling in my mind of, do I watch this awesome epic screen that's being filmed super well, or do I watch with my own eyes, watch the stage with my own eyes? I kind of flip between the two. But the image that sticks out in my mind the most, they focused on a piece of the crowd during Pictures of You, and I saw a man dressed as like a clown or a mime. He kind of had like the white face paint, and the dude was just in tears. I don't know why, but that image just keeps sticking with me. I keep thinking about the crying clown in the crowd. But he wasn't the only one. I had several around me who were in tears during Pictures of You. The man beside me was really struggling to contain himself. I had some emotional women. But it's one of those songs, and it's really awesome to see in live time people connecting with it and feeling emotions on that kind of level, that they're brought to tears. It's just raw, true, beautiful power. It was halfway through Pictures of You, and my brother's girlfriend decided she had enough of the crowd, so she trotted back to the back of the field with the others. So it was just me and Ashley left in the front lines. Third song was High. I went nuts when that came on. I waited all summer long for High to show up on the tour. I thought for sure somewhere on the second half of the summer tour this year, High would show up in the encore, or maybe be put in place as something else. And it never happened. So it came on. I went nuts. Turns out that was the first time it had been played since 2019. So really cool to say I saw the first performance of High in the 2020 decade. Robert forgot the second verse, but whatever. It's been like 4 years since he sang that song. And, he did his improvise, mumble and moved on. I don't think anyone really cared about the missing verse. Song sounded amazing. I was so happy to have it back on the set list. We then got Love Song and Nothing Is Forever. Nothing Is Forever's starting to grow on me. It kind of gets better and better with every listen. But it wasn't really my favorite new song, or even close to being my favorite new song when it first started being played. But I'm starting to appreciate it and enjoy it a lot more. Next, we got Cold. This was another oh shit moment for me. I actually said, oh fuck, and Ashley thought something was wrong. She said, what's wrong? And I said, they're playing Cold. Man, I was so desperate for anything pornography at the Cleveland show. Didn't get one pornography track there. They went to Detroit 2 days later and played like 4 pornography tracks. But yeah, Cold, definitely my favorite moment of the show. I went nuts again. But the song actually, it literally froze me. It caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. I couldn't film. I couldn't move. I just was like totally focused in. Halfway through the song, I realized I had my hands on my head. I was kind of like casually pulling my hair out. I guess I was just going nuts for that song. I've replayed the video and audio recording of it probably about 15 times already. But definitely the highlight of the show for me was Cold. Then we got Burn, always an epic moment of the show. I hope the song never leaves their set list. One of these days, I'm going to get around to watching The Crow. Never seen it yet, but that's on my list. After Burn, we got Fascination Street. It was another big moment for me. One of my favorite Disintegration tracks. And that song was strangely minimal on the tour. I want to say they've only played it like 5 times this year. We then got A Night Like This, followed by Push. From my standing point in the crowd, I honestly thought there was like technical difficulty on the stage at the start of Push. I thought something broke or something was wrong. After talking to some fans later and re-listening to the recording, I don't think there's any technical difficulty. I think they just kind of screwed up the beginning a little bit. But they pushed on through, songs started coming together, and I don't know if because of the screw up, Robert decided to, he was just going to sing the holy hell out of that song. But I highly recommend listen to the recording of Push from that night. I think it's the best vocal performance he's done of that song, maybe ever. Just listen to it. It's, my God. After Push, we got In Between Days, Just Like Heaven. They put those two earlier in the set. I think it's a good move, and I think those songs work better earlier in the night. Probably more so, especially for the more casual fans or listeners. Couple smash hits like that, keep them going after some deep cuts or something. And we went into 17 Seconds, starting with At Night. Something sounded really screwy from where I was standing on At Night, mostly noticeable with the bass. I thought maybe more technical difficulties were happening. Maybe there was on that side of the stage, but listening to the playback, I don't detect any issues, so I'm not really sure what I was hearing going weird on At Night, but I guess it really doesn't matter. It plays back good. And we got Play for Today, followed by A Forest. Don't even need to go into A Forest. It's always one of those moments in the show. Great fucking song. I want to mention the amount of crowd participation that I saw, in contrast to Cleveland, which the crowd was slightly stale at times. Everybody was jumping for Push. Everybody was doing the O's for Play for Today. Everybody was doing the claps for the end of A Forest. Shake Dog Shake was next. I thought this song was played very fiercely, and it kind of had the vocal intensity kind of from like the original recordings, I guess, or the 84 recordings. I don't know, Robert just seemed to growl that one out a little more aggressively than I noticed in previous shows on this tour. Then it was time for Edge of the Deep Green Sea and end song. Edge of the Deep Green Sea, always a favorite moment of the show for me. Again, the vocal delivery, like, I guess the whole night, I don't know, the vocals were just spot on. They always are. It's always a good time. It always sounds good, but like the vocals on this show, like, I don't know, everything was just seemed better. They literally just get better and better. They keep climbing the mountain of greatness. Like, I didn't see him in the 80s, you know, with my own eyes or nothing like that. My first show was just in June, but I swear this is the best they've ever been, right? Anyway, end song, always a treat to hear. Always beautiful to see the blood red moon. I could hear that little just couple notes guitar line over and over for the end of time. So simple yet so catchy. That song really does just sound like a Blood Flowers Disintegration love baby. It's another one I can't wait to hear the studio version of. The band took a real quick break, came right back out, start the encore off with Lullaby, followed by The Walk. I love The Walk, but I also wouldn't mind hearing Let's Go to Bed. We got Friday I'm in Love, Close to Me, and Why Can't I Be You. I'm very happy Why Can't I Be You has stayed on the set since the second leg of the summer tour. There seems to be a lot of dislike for Why Can't I Be You, but come on, everyone's singing along. If that song don't get you moving, there's something wrong. Anyway, we arrived at Boys Don't Cry. I really wasn't paying attention to the clock, but started feeling a little sad the show was over. But to my surprise, they kept on with two more, and I got to hear 10:15 Saturday night and Killing an Arab live for the first time. Super, super thrilled with that. I swear at the show, I kept telling Ashley, I was happy he said Killing an Arab instead of Killing Another. I like to hear the original words, and I don't know, obviously Robert is not really wanting to kill an Arab, so I kind of just, it's an old song, it's over 40 years old, and I kind of hate that he has to say another now, just probably in fear of cancel culture or something crazy. I swear he was singing Killing an Arab at the show. That's what I heard. But apparently your mind can make you hear things you want to hear or something like that, because when I played back the recording, he very clearly is saying Killing Another. A couple other things to mention about the show. I'll bring up Robert's shirt. He came out wearing Amy Winehouse. After the show, I sort of searched around for a Amy Winehouse Chicago connection. I didn't find any, but it did look like her 40th birthday would have been on the 14th. So apparently Robert was paying tribute to Amy. Robert also had 2 new guitars. I think I saw a post after the show. I want to say he designed the artwork on the guitar, and the guitar is being sold currently for some type of charity event. Anyway, the guitar looked really cool. Always nice to see new instruments on stage. I'm still thinking about that purple Schecter for the St. Paul show that he did for his Prince tribute. Prior to the event, Like the whole month before, I kept hoping that a poster would be revealed. I wasn't sure if there would be one, due to the show being kind of like a one-off, random, in-between tours kind of deal. But it was Friday night, the image of the poster came out, and we got another cat Cure poster. A lot of people seem to think cats and the Cure are kind of overplayed at this point. But I don't think so. I'm a sucker for cats, big cat person, so I'll take all the cat Cure merchandise you can give me. I opted not to buy the poster at the event. I didn't really feel like toting it around and risk getting it scruffed up or bent up or anything like that, so I actually ordered one online day before the show. Hopefully I'll get it a lot sooner than 90 days, but oh well, if it takes that long, it takes that long. I also ordered the shirt with the poster on it. I recently just got my Blossom shirt, and I ordered the Montreal Night 1 shirt, and was really impressed with how they turned out. I wasn't really sure with the generic image on the merch store page how they're going to look, but really good quality, really large print. They look great, so super excited to get my Riot Fest shirt someday. I couldn't find any information on the artist of the new poster, but once they released the second edition on the merch store, they posted the artist's name. It looks like an artist called Sister Hyde. I checked out some of her work, or their work. They look like they get a lot of work for Criterion Collection, which is super cool. And that artist also just did a nice print for the Talking Heads Stop Making Sense remaster. Anyway, check them out. Really good stuff. The Cure's merch at Riot Fest was the cheapest merch of any of the other merch I saw. I didn't really check out the other band's merch, but I saw a lot of 50 and 60 and 45 price tags. And then you go to the Cure side and everything is 25, 30, 50. So they still are the kings of all-time low merchandise price. The festival merchandise was really cool, really nice, like crazy art, cartoon style stuff. They had a large variety of prints, a really cool cat shirt, melting skulls and that kind of thing. But their merchandise was outrageous. Opted not to get a Riot Fest shirt. Maybe for Black Friday or something, they'll be doing half off on the leftovers. They wanted $100 for a crewneck sweatshirt, which is nuts. I mean, one Riot Fest shirt would get you a large bag full of Cure merchandise. So I couldn't do it. I want to say this Riot Fest poster is like my 13th or 14th tour poster. I went a little crazy on the posters. I didn't expect them to be so needed. Since the tour ended, I've spent a good bit of time tracking down certain first editions and that kind of thing. It's been quite an enduring task, but I think I'm covered on the posters. I now have more posters than walls. But yeah, a couple more things before I wrap up. I was super excited bringing 3 fresh ears with me, and really curious if any of them were going to come back a fan, or just more interested in digging into the catalog or looking into Cure history. I think my sister was taken the most. It was like 2 days after we got back. She texted me early in the morning, and she was starting her day off with pictures of you and Close to Me. Told me that was her favorite so far. But yeah, I was really happy to see she was seeking it out on her own and connecting with it on her own. And, you know, she's fueled with the memory of our night at Riot Fest, and it was a really good time for everybody. And so yeah, I think she's a casual fan currently, and hopefully still digging into the catalog. I asked my brother if he had any tracks that he couldn't get out of his head, or he kept thinking about, or really struck him at the show. He mentioned A Forest has been playing in his car quite a bit. He's generally a hip-hop guy. I mean, he does have a strong alternative music kind of origin with his music history, but yeah, I don't know, maybe the gloomy fall weather's coming in, the cold and the wet, and so I don't know, maybe this winter he'll be digging into some records. I may have to get him a copy of Standing on the Beach for Christmas or something. I want to give a huge kind of shout out or appreciation for my wife. We're expecting our daughter, our second child, in 11 weeks. But she did the whole Chicago trip, endured the whole festival, while being extremely pregnant and uncomfortable. But she toughed it out. She didn't complain one time. She was down for the whole thing. Swollen feet and all. I will say, if the show was any longer, I think I was gonna have to find somewhere for her to go rest and get her out of that crowd. But man, a tough woman, and I'm so happy that I gotta do it again with her. It's kind of cool. She was pregnant during the Cleveland show, so in a weird sense, my unborn daughter has seen or not seen, but heard The Cure, in some type of capacity. She was kind of kicking around during the show, so I feel like she definitely was hearing it. But yeah, I don't know any other woman that would do the trip and the journey and the show and the whole thing as well as she did, and with a smile on her face the whole time. The power of Robert, I guess. That was one of the toughest things about the trip, was the longest I ever had to leave my son. We got through that. I don't know, Robert and The Cure is probably the only thing that's going to get me to part with him that long. He was excited for us, though. He kept telling us, Mom and Dad, go see Robert and stuff like that. But yeah, after the second show and comparing my first experience to the second, I think I can die a happy Cure fan. If that's the last time I see him, then that's the last time. I really don't think it is. Robert did say, we'll see you again. I don't think it's the end. I mean, that was debated a lot at the start of the tour, but they're playing so well. The 50th anniversary's coming up pretty soon, so I don't think it's the end just yet. But I don't have a lot of bucket lists left for The Cure. I'd like to see him inside, and then my ultimate dream is to take my son to go see him. Hopefully in a couple years, it'll be a little more suited to handle something like that. I still have a few songs I'd love to hear. Charlotte Sometimes being number one, 100 Years. You know, there's a lot of songs I still would love to hear, but for two shows, I got a lot of songs. So yeah, I can die a happy Cure fan. I absolutely love Chicago. I definitely will be returning sometime in the future. 2 days was not enough to cover that city and do everything we wanted to do, but the place was truly remarkable. Probably the calmest large city I've ever been in. The culture was surprising. Everyone minds their business and does their thing. I didn't see anything crazy. I didn't even see a cockroach. I've been to LA twice, and there's really no comparison between the two. Totally different vibes. New York's still on my list, but yeah, it just didn't seem as hectic and crazy as you would imagine a city like Chicago would be. And I didn't witness anything the media seems to bring up a lot about Chicago being high crime and unsafe. I didn't see any of that. And we walked through quite a bit of the south side, which I'm told is a hairy area, but again, I didn't notice anything. I never once felt unsafe in that city. During the show, or slightly after, I don't know, I heard a lot of people say live streams went down. But yeah, so many people in the crowd. The cell phone towers broke. Nobody could get any cell data. So it was pretty hectic getting an Uber out of there. Nobody could dial out or get the app to work. It took us about 45 minutes to secure an Uber. But anyway, if you've never been to Chicago, go. Do it. It's a great place. I really, really, really loved it. Easily one of the best nights of my life, and I'm so thankful and happy I got to experience it and share it with family that is very close to me, and we all have those memories to forever reflect on and go back to and relive. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough. I hope everybody had a great time at the show. I hope people who didn't attend got to still equally enjoy it on some level. Hopefully you got a good live stream. Somebody just this week posted the full show in 4K, high def, cell phone cam glory. And if you're looking to put it on your phone or MP3 player or burn it to a disc, there's a Argentina fan page who posted a link with a solid rip of the show, artwork and all. Thanks so much for having me back, Gavin. Keep up all the great work. I'm going to steal your line. Talk hard.
All right, I love it. Thank you so much, Nicholas. What a wonderful experience it sounds like you had, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. I really felt like we were there with you, reliving every little moment, and the best we could ask for. So thank you so much for letting us tag along with you as we walk back through the memory of Riot Fest. Seemed like such a cool all-around experience for you. That was so cool that the city treated you so well. You had family there, and The Cure, of course, delivered with such an amazing set. You had a sad clown in the beginning of the set. You had High, the first time since 2019. You got Cold and Fascination Street and At Night, and then all those staples from the past shows that we have seen, but a great combo of all the songs. And performance-wise, sounds like they were off the chart, so that's great. And yeah, thank you. Your wife, what is that all about? Oh my God, I didn't realize she was pregnant. That's amazing. What a trooper. It's impressive enough, anyone that toughs out the festival crowd on their own, but having a child on the way while you're doing it is even that much more awesome. So hats off to her for sure. And congrats in advance. I didn't know you had another little one on the way. So that's beautiful. And the fact that she's already sort of witnessed 2 Cure shows is destined for greatness now. So nothing's going to stop this child hearing 2 awesome Cure shows from the womb. Oh man, what a cool story to tell. So that's amazing. I'm also glad that we are on the same page with the cat poster. I agree that it is very cool and you can't go wrong with Cure cats. But yeah, Sister Hyde. I'll have to check out some more Sister Hyde artwork, because that definitely gave a cool vibe from that. And the Amy Winehouse shirt too. I was trying to figure out what the connection to Chicago was as well. So maybe it is just that her birthday was recently, and was given a little nod to Miss Winehouse there. And yeah, pretty cool. And I sincerely hope we all get more chances to see The Cure. I'm in the same boat where I wouldn't write them off just yet, but you never know. That's the scarier factor of life. So I'm glad you're satisfied with it, but I hope we all get a few more shots at seeing this band again and seeing where it goes from here. So very cool. Can't thank you enough again for sharing all that with us as we gonna just wrap it up, because where do you go from there? So let's call that Uber and get on out of here. What do you say? While you load up the app, I am going to give a giant praise and shout out to the Patreon. Patreon make all this magic happen over here at the Holy Hour podcast. So if you would like to be part of the action, if you would like to contribute, go on over to patreon.com/the Holy Hour podcast. We'd love to have you. So go check it out, see if it's for you, and be amongst the ranks of Donna and Craig, Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland Jones, Sue, Ben, John, Alan, Allison, Dion, Namicio, Matt, Danny, Coulter, Matt Ford, Tom Johnson, Tom Burns, Letty, John Roberts, Francisco, Jason, Craig Bellinger, Amber, Nicholas, and Jessica. In addition, we have Tim, who is a loyal Patreon member and part of New Waterloo, a company that owns and operates 5 super rad hotels: the South Congress Hotel in Austin, Texas, the Waymore's Guest House in Nashville, Tennessee, the Revival in Baltimore, El Capitan in Merced, California, and the Albert in Fredericksburg, Texas, coming in 2024. And Kelly Soriano, if you're out there, we're still looking for you. If you went to Riot Fest and you just listened to this one-off episode to relive the magic, guess what? Your old Cure buddy Tim is looking for you. Drop me a line, I'll reconnect you. He got lots to catch up on the Cure's backstory. And as always, Scott Kruger over at the Sarlacc Digest, the coolest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, or that galaxy that's next to the one that the Star Wars galaxy's in. We've got one more week of Ahsoka before the finale. They've been loving it and providing so much great episode-to-episode commentary, filling us all in, all us normies in on all the little details that we may have missed. So check out their final thoughts on the finale this Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook too if you follow their Facebook group. Or catch the replays everywhere you listen to podcasts, the Sarlacc Digest. While Dana, she is a super talented motion designer and animator. Check out her work at graphics.tv. That's graphics with an X. If you think you could use some animation to promote your business or project, she'd be perfect for it. So reach out to her, see what she can do to help. October is here, so we're calling out to all artists. Kate from CureThreads.com is kicking off another Curetober campaign where you can create Cure art each day of the month based on designated songs by The Cure. Then just hashtag it Curetober, post it. It's that easy. So go on over to Cure Arts Collab on Instagram or Forget About Stars on Instagram, and you can see any other full details. And on your way out, make sure you pass by CureThreads.com. Pick yourself up some cool Cure-inspired gear created by Kate. Lisa is here to remind you that Dickens up in Calgary hosts a wide range of great shows and live events, so go check out dickensyyc.com where you can find a full list of all upcoming shows and events. Or if you're further south, like Little Rock, Arkansas, you may want to hit up Club Nevermore to get your full goth on and hang out with cool cats like Jessica. So visit clubnevermore.com for all upcoming event info. And you know our super sexy co-host Chaz has another podcast called The Excommunication Station, where he, Donovan, and Chrissy dive into the dark side of the church every week. And you can start getting yourself terrified for Halloween. Check it out everywhere you listen to podcasts. As for us, subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming shows. Like our Facebook page and follow the Holy Hour podcast on Instagram. You can always feel free to email me directly at gavinconnor@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. And if you were at Riot Fest, I hope you had a wonderful and safe time. Feel free to share any stories or memories or thoughts on our Facebook page or Instagram pages. The more details, the better. We've got a few more loosey-goosey fun episodes coming up before The Cure hit the road again for the next and perhaps final leg of the Shows of a Lost World tour. They'll be kicking it off November 19th in Mexico City. So let's all get pumped up together. And until then, until next time, until everything, talk hard.